सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने प्रवर्तन निदेशालय के निदेशक संजय मिश्रा के कार्यकाल के लिए 31 जुलाई की समय सीमा तय करके केंद्र सरकार को झटका दिया है। कोर्ट ने घोषणा की कि मिश्रा को दिया गया विस्तार अवैध था क्योंकि इसने उसके पहले के निर्देशों का उल्लंघन किया था। मिश्रा का कार्यकाल मूल रूप से नवंबर 2023 में खत्म होने वाला था।
Extension pura illegal. This is what Supreme Court is telling, which Congress party is telling the day one onwards. Therefore, Congress party's stand is already vindicated today. That entire extension, the motive to extend the term of the ED director is illegal means. That is actually clear slap on the government face. This is what I want to take.
This is a big victory for all the democratic forces. We have been opposing the politicization of the ED. If you look at the big cases which the ED has been investigating, everything has been against the political opponents of the BJP. The only question is, are there no other officers who are capable and competent enough to head ED? Why they are only insisting upon this gentleman? Is it because he toes the line of the BJP? And is it because of his tenure at the top of ED, so many raids have taken place at all the political opponents? And the Supreme Court has rightly put a full stop to this.
Let me go straight across to Nikunj, who is joining us on the broadcast. Nikunj, how do you read what has happened in the Supreme Court today? We are saying it's a setback. Is it a complete setback, given the fact that the Supreme Court has upheld the amendments to the CBC Act?
And also to the DSPE Act, which governs the CBI. So there are two specific acts in this case. One is Delhi Special Police Powers Act, which governs the Central Bureau of Investigation, and the Central Vigilance Commission Act, which governs the appointment of the Director of ED. So the government of India brought in an ordinance originally, then got it passed through the parliament, which is now the law of the land. So quite clearly, for the government, if the government were to look at it, they would say that, it's a big relief for them, because eventually what is their concern? Their concern was that their will, which is the will of the parliament now expressed through a law, has been upheld by the Supreme Court. And they have said that the amendments to the law are fine, that the scope of the judicial review is limited. However, the bone of contention became extensions given to the individual incumbent in the form of Mr. Sanjay Mishra at the Enforcement Directorate. Remember, despite the amendments, the CBI, none of the CBI directors, government has appointed at least 2 CBI directors post the amendments also, but none of them have got any extension. It's only and only Mr. Sanjay Mishra, who's the incumbent director of the Enforcement Directorate, till at least 31st of July, unless government does something else, who has got these extensions. So the law operates both for CBI and the ED. However, only the ED director has got full 5 extensions. In that sense, that the personage of Mr. Sanjay Mishra has been questioned, his extension has been questioned, this is certainly a setback for the government of India. And frankly speaking, I somehow fail to see why the government could not see it, because the court from the very beginning, in the last multiple hearings, was clearly against the extensions that were being given to Mr. Sanjay Mishra as a matter of routine by the government. So in 2021, in 2022, the extensions that were given, it was the flow of the case was appearing to be that they certainly were not in agreement. And at some point in time, if government were to have thought that this is going to go against them, they could have taken 2 steps back and said that probably those extensions need reconsideration. However, government in its wisdom thought that probably it would also pass the muster, which it did not today. And that is why this is history. This is history being made. I do not remember of any other occasion where the tenure of a chief of a central investigation agency has been curtailed by the Supreme Court of the country. Never before there have been instances where tenures of the Union Home Secretaries have been curtailed. Mr. Anil Goswami's tenure was curtailed by this government, that is NDA government, once they came to power, on some charges that were pretty opaque. However, I do not remember any time post, particularly the Vineet Narayan judgment in 1997, if my memory serves me right, when the fixed 2-year tenure was given first to the Director CBI, later moved to Director ED a few years back, that the tenure tenure of a chief of a federal investigation agency has been curtailed by the top court of the country. So this is history being made.